So this very outspoken mom on TikTok has people fired up about a very specific topic. Kicking your kids out of the house when they turn 18. Because technically they're 18, they are of legal age, but in her video, this mom says that children should live with their parents until they are financially and mentally stable enough to face the real world. Ladies, what is your thoughts when it comes to kids? Should the parents urge their kids to move out at the age of 18, or is that really mean?
I'm not a parent yet, but I actually really do agree with this mom. I sympathize with the idea that, like, I think that different children mature at a different pace, but more than anything, guys, 18 is still a teenager. Like, you don't know anything at that age, and to just be like, oh, my job is done and you out, like, what happened to, like, the nurturing part of being a parent or a mom? Like, I wouldn't want to just see my kid and be like, oh, it was your 18th birthday, you out, my job is done. There's a real joy, I would think, in being a parent and watching your child grow and watching them. I just think that children need stability, and I think giving them that foundation and that environment would allow them to not become moochers. I actually think that it would give them the wings to soar.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you feel like your kid is using you and abusing the luxury of living in their home, that's different. But I don't see the average kid just doing that.
I was kicked out at 17.
Kicked out?
Kicked out at 17, and I had to live in my car. And I write about it in my book, so you can read all about that in my memoir.
And what's that memoir called?
So you don't have to. But this is the thing. Different parents parent different type of ways. And I know a lot of people, when I was growing up in my community, used to say, you know, when you get 18, and I think they felt that way because they didn't have the means. They were already struggling. You know what I mean? So they didn't have the means, so their only way of maybe easing up with financial costs is to get that child out of the house. And I know it sounds, but that's what I seen, like, growing up. So a lot of us, when we got 17, 18, 19, it was like, you know, we were kicked out. The thing is, if you are that type of parent, I would say at least prepare your child. At least make sure, like, they could go to college, or make sure they have a place, or make sure they have a job. Don't just kick them out and they don't have any place to go. But I think a lot of times when parents do that, it's because of financial issues that they've really been having.
Man,
That's
though,
what I
if
think.
you're struggling financially, why would you want your child to struggle financially?
They see it
How
as a
about we just
burden.
struggle
That's
together?
gone.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
see it as a burden.
I don't agree with it, but I could see why it happens. I agree with you. Kids, people, they mature differently. And in Asian culture, I think that's a big difference in why I think the way I do. You actually are okay to still live in the house. Like, it's
Right.
okay for families to grow up together.
Same.
And if people are struggling with money, like, your kid could still be living with their wife in the house. Obviously still having your boundaries, but not everybody has the luxury of just moving out and starting anew. So
Yeah.
I'm with, like, staying in the family if you need to.
Oh, it's a tough
Definitely.
one.
But when you 40, you need to be out.
Go get your
That's what I'm saying. But I actually think that if you give your kid the proper stability, the proper love, the proper
definitely.
information, at some point, they want their independence.
Yeah.
They're gonna wanna leave when they're ready.
Yeah.
Definitely.